Welcome to the ml-gradle Episode 7, Protecting Passwords from MarkLogic University. To follow along with this tutorial, you will need to download and install MarkLogic. You must also have installed Java version 1.8 or higher, and the latest version of Gradle. Gradle downloads all project dependencies, including the ml-gradle plugin that we'll be using. We define the ml-gradle version as 3.9.0 in the build.gradle file. This version, or later, should work fine for our examples. Download the tutorial files and follow the installation instructions in the tutorial README by going to github.com/marklogicuniversity/ml-gradle-series. At the heart of the ml-gradle plugin lies MarkLogic's REST API. Of course, REST API calls require authentication to deploy configurations, including creating new users and roles. You wouldn't want to allow just anyone to create a new admin user. ml-gradle uses properties to conveniently implement authentication with site-specific defined usernames. You can create usernames and passwords in MarkLogic with the minimum privileges required to deploy your cluster, server, and database configurations. The ML username is the default user for ml-gradle REST API calls, unless overridden by the other user account properties. This does not have to be a user with the admin role. However, secure REST API calls would require the security and manage-admin roles, so the ML username account should inherit both these roles. ML REST admin username is used for loading modules. Non-REST modules use port 8000. REST modules use the port defined by the ML REST port ml-gradle property. ML manage username is used by ml-gradle for REST API calls to MarkLogic's managed server on port 8002. The user must have the manage-admin role. The ML manage username and password are used by ml-gradle version 3.4.0 and higher. ML security username is used by ml-gradle for REST API calls to the security endpoints on port 8002. This requires a user with both the manage-admin and security roles. We created a script to encrypt required passwords on the computer that will be building and deploying our MarkLogic configuration, security, and content. The Credentials plugin uses AES encryption to secure the password values, then stores them on the file system in the Gradle home directory's gradle.encrypted.properties directory. The encryption is a convenient method for not storing passwords in clear text. However, you should always address specific security requirements and not rely on any one method. See the Credentials Gradle plugin's GitHub page for more information on the design of the plugin's encryption. We wouldn't want to treat this file as part of our development artifacts, so it should not be checked into a version control system. In the build script, we use Gradle's extra properties extension block along with the Credentials plugin's Credentials property to retrieve the password values. We then set the necessary MarkLogic properties to allow properly authenticated calls from ml-gradle to MarkLogic via the REST APIs. We run our script, which uses the Credentials plugin for Gradle in order to encrypt our passwords. We have already undeployed any previous ml-gradle exercise and copied the Star Wars project folder from the password-encryption folder to the Episode 7 folder, replacing any previous Star Wars project. We have also run our pwd-encrypt script to encrypt our passwords and store them locally. We are ready to deploy again. So redeploy our Star Wars character application by simply running the Gradle ml-deploy command. The Gradle build script's extra properties extension block reads our encrypted passwords, decrypts them, then uses them in our Gradle deployment. Run the deploy content ml-gradle task to load our content with appropriate permissions by typing gradle space deploy content and then press enter. In our browser, we again navigated to http://localhost:9010/login.xqy, and we logged in as Leia and the password of Leia. We see both Rebel and Empire documents since Leia has the appropriate permissions, the same as our previous ml-gradle episode on security. To get MarkLogic, download from developer.marklogic.com. The examples from this episode are available from MarkLogic University's GitHub repository at github.com/marklogicuniversity. Get more training by visiting marklogic.com/training. Also, a complete selection of on-demand topics is available at mlu.marklogic.com/ondemand. Or download the MarkLogic mobile app, available on both Apple's App Store and Google Play. Thank you for watching this MarkLogic University on-demand video.